been trying to stand up straight.
Yeah.
Ate a whole wedge of cheese,
Ooh.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm a lot taller, ain't I?
Yeah.
I ate $16 worth of cheese last night.
Wow.
Parmesan, aged from Queens.
What's
It
the weight at?
hurts my teeth. Oh, dude. I don't even wanna
I think we got to check. I think it's time.
Oh, my.
I think,
Don't show the
live
bald
on air.
spot. Let's see. All right, I was 175, but then I got down to 165.
And then you ate a bunch of cheese.
Yeah. The lowest I was 168. Oh, man.
Oh, that's not bad, right?
Yeah, but I just ate a big breakfast and had lots of water. Does that count?
Wait, so you were down to what?
The lowest I got down was maybe even 163 dehydrated. Naked.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe 164 if we're being honest.
Wow. So you gained about 5 pounds of cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, for cheese, that could be worse, I suppose.
I couldn't. It's like grit in my teeth now. I'm having like, I can't. I got like a pet peeve now over the taste of cheese.
That's why you got to mix it in with. That's why they give you crackers with the cheese.
Yeah.
It goes down easy.
You get that grit, dude. I scraping the wedge, laying right there, upset.
Oh my god.
Yep. Isn't
Disgusting.
that crazy?
Yeah.
Why'd I do that?
You got that? I saw the sign. You got a Whole Foods coming around the corner
Dude,
next week.
What do we got next week? I can't wait.
June 4th, I think.
Hopefully, it's a little bit less pricey than this one over here.
Prices are gonna be the same. Less crowded, hopefully.
I seen a dude doing something I always wanted to do, and he got caught. And it's like, I wouldn't even know what to say if I got caught doing this. But I always thought about doing this in Whole Foods. Like, you just hold your thing above the scale, and you just act like you're confirming the weight. Like, you know. But to lighten it up. And, dude, sure enough, I got busted and called out.
Well, that's so he got greedy.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you're supposed to do is you press bananas.
Oh, that's
crazy. You're supposed to be weighing out some, avocados. You just you act like it's a banana.
Dude,
that way,
I never thought of that.
Well, that way you still got to pay something, but you're paying banana prices for avocados.
Yeah.
So that you end up at least you'll get ahead some. But if you're just like straight up not weighing anything down,
this dude like picked up the corner. I seen it was like $1.33, and the girl seen it. Like there's no what are you doing? You're holding the corner up.
How much could you possibly be saving? You're better off just straight up stealing at that point. Yeah, because you can't just go up to the register and try it right there.
They don't tell on people that eat in line though. It's crazy. You think you would get told on for that? I see people do it all the time.
Well, there's no evidence.
Yeah.
Once you eat the food, the evidence is gone. So
and they can't really be like, how much did it weigh?
Yeah, exactly. You don't really know. They don't even know how much you really stole.
Yeah.
All they can do is tell you like, we don't want to see you in here again. But I think one thing you can confirm just going to Whole Foods in the city, nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You get caught, you walk right back in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You're good. They're not stopping you.
Yeah, you're right.
There's too much happening right now.
I told you that one time, I thought I was praying. I'm a religious man. And the Whole Foods over by like the east side, it's a weird Whole Foods. It's a nice one. I forgot where it is, like somewhere in
Upper East Side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I've been there.
Anyways, the way it's set up, you can't really get upstairs without paying. I don't know if they changed that.
Yeah.
So, dude, I grabbed some sushi. Elevator doors open. Somebody's coming down. I went up. Dude, I ate the sushi upstairs. I'm going back down. There's that dude waiting for me. There's only one exit. He goes, you didn't pay for that sushi. Do you have the receipt? I'm like, yeah, I paid for it. He's like, no, you didn't. He's like, you took it from there. You went in the elevator. You went upstairs and ate it.
Wow.
Yeah, I ate it in like 1 second.
So it's like what? You saw me do all that, but you didn't stop me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you waited until I broke the crime?
Yeah, and the funny thing is those guys aren't allowed to hold you, so he was like standing in front of the door. I just had to run out. It was so embarrassing.
Wow. He probably thought he was going to remember your face.
Yeah.
It's probably like a drawing of you somewhere at that Whole Foods.
Yeah, it's like the joke's on you, dude. I'll go to another Whole Foods.
I already ate. Joke's on you. I'm not hungry no more. Yeah.
I remember one time I know it sounds like the Chris Tucker joke where he goes, he robbed a store, came outside, and somebody stole his car. One time I stole some shit from a store, ran out, and my phone and keys were on the table in the Bronx. And dude, he's like, he's telling me, yo, you got to pay me $50 for your phone and ID back or whatever. And I'm like, dude, if I'm stealing $3 worth of food, do you think I have $50?
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting here having a conversation with the guy over my ID. I'm like, all right, let's call the cops. What's the bigger crime here? I was like, you stole my phone and ID. I'm pretty sure that's a felony. It's like, you're stealing my identity, my wallet. I stole $3 worth of food at a deli.
Wow. Yeah, you got to ask him for $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's call the cops. And this dude, the last thing he wanted to do was call the cops.
wow.
And this is back when they used to sell weed at those delis. Those were the best delis to steal from.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last thing they're doing is calling the cops.
There's so many of these stores in the hood, even like in my neighborhood. It's like, obviously they don't want you to steal. There is a security guard by the door, but they don't put the register by the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those big department stores you buy socks.
Yeah.
The register is always way in the back.
Yeah.
So you pay, and then you got to walk all the way through the store to leave.
Huh.
So it's like they're asking for you to steal.
It's like, dude, it's not that I don't got the money. I don't got the time to make the walk.
Not even that, but it's like if you put the register by the door, then I got to pay, I got to take the thing, and I got to leave right there.
Yeah.
But you're asking me to leave through unpaid merchandise.
Oh,
You know what I
with
mean?
the bag.
Yeah, with the bag.
I guess I didn't ever think about that.
This is why if you go
Targets like that.
if you go to Macy's or something, the register is by the door because logically that's where they want to put you.
Yeah.
They don't want you to make another walk through it's not like a casino or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
They try to trick
I
you.
miss stealing, I'll be honest with you.
It's got to be fun.
Now that my morals are there, see, when you're so broke and you don't care, you live life so free.
Yeah.
It's like you really don't give a shit what's going to happen. I don't have $1 for 10 days. You've been stealing for 10 days.
Right.
Stealing soap, food. You're like, dude, I don't give a shit. I'm living outside. Think I give a fuck about you? I stole this crackers?
Right. Well, I feel like there's so much stuff. It's just like the good stuff that you can't steal. You know what I mean?
Well, unless
anything,
it's like...
anything you actually can steal is not going to be worth any real money.
Well, I remember the hustle was way back in the day when they were like, before people realized you could just straight up rip off Dwayne Reeds with garbage bags and get away with it.
Yeah.
People didn't know you could do that back in the day, so they'd have to go up to the Bronx and like steal a bike and try to sell it in Times Square.
Right. Well, even the Dwayne Reed thing, it's like you can. I mean, these days you can't do that because everything's locked up.
Yeah.
But even that though, it's like you are playing. You're doing a lot of work. Those people were taking a garbage bag and taking a bunch of makeup.
Yeah.
And then going on Facebook Marketplace and trying to sell makeup
Or
for like
selling on the train.
one lipstick at a time. And it's like, yeah, you're giving yourself a job at that point.
The easiest way to do that, the best way to do that, like 10 years ago, what people used to do was they would steal it from downtown, all these downtown Dwayne Reeds, tons of shit, like gum, baby formula, all that shit, and they would sell it to the bodegas in the Bronx and Brooklyn. You can make you can make $1,000 in a few hours.
It was a big scandal. Someone was like buying stolen ice cream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of the bodegas in my neighborhood.
Huh.
It's like, yeah, they got busted just because, I don't know, there were serial numbers on it or something.
Wow, that's like this fake money, It has serial numbers on it. If I tried to pawn it off and they called the police, it'll go back to my brother. I wonder how true that is.
I doubt that's true.
Because it's like, do you think they're printing different numbers on all that money? There's
Nah.
no way.
Yeah, that would be way more work for them.
You're right.
Yeah.
And who's tracking that down? It would be like a murder. Because, dude, some of these bills look real. You know what I want to do is these restaurants that shortchange me, I want to start going back and getting them.
Yeah, here's $40,000.
They're greedy.
Some rice and chicken. I'll give you a stack of hundreds.
Oh, dude, that's...
You idiot.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's the guy who thinks he's so smart. Yeah. He's trying to get back at you.
Dude, I would do it. Their own greed, they would do it. They'd see that.
They would try to pass it off on somebody else at that point.
Yeah, once they get caught.
That's when, one person gets busted. They have to move on to somebody else.
But they'd be so distracted and thinking about how much they could rip me off, they won't even realize they're getting ripped off. If I do it with like a 20.
Yep. It's everybody's ripping everybody off.
I did some Googling. Now I'm all like, if I do it, I'll get caught through Google. But they say you can put like cigarette ashes and beer. You soak it overnight, and it'll make counterfeit money feel like real money. Like then you let it dry out.
Cigarette ashes. What do you do with the?
I don't know, but something about cigarette ashes and beer.
And then you put the money in it?
Like, yeah, I think you soak the money in like beer or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Overnight, and then when you dry it out and put cigarette ashes on it, it makes it feel like money.
I mean, I think it probably makes it feel messed up, but money, it's like the paper itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get one of those people with gloves.
There's cash is being phased out in general. Everybody just does tap to pay. So it's like whenever I do pay with like a 50, it is like a big ordeal.
It is. They're
And-
getting the marker. They're calling somebody.
Well, they're doing some weird like pinky shit with it, and they're they're holding it up to the light or something.
I get that all the time with the ATM gives me hundreds now because I've been blowing money frugally.
Yeah, it's getting hard to steal.
It really is, dude. I miss the good old days.
I bet most of these teenagers these days, they probably grow up without ever shoplifting.
Yeah, their whole thing is prank somebody on the street. I told you I got pranked in my neighborhood. Did I tell you that?
Oh yeah.
The young kids pulling their pants down in the interview.
What?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even tell you.
You told me about the other one.
Oh yeah.
thing
Oh
about
yeah.
the-
Yeah. No, it's right over here. They get out of school. I'm social media. I thought they recognized. I think they actually did recognize me from social media.
Oh.
And they were like, "Yo, man, you know," unless they do this to everybody, but they were like, you know, can we get you on an interview, man? We're trying to build our YouTube channel, man. And I'm sure they did recognize me from social media. So he goes, "What do you think was the difference for you if you had to give advice to younger generation on how to grow on social media?" And I noticed his friends giggling. I look out of the corner of my eye. Fucking kid got his pants down. I'm like, dude, what do you guys? I said, guys, I mean, come on, this ain't cool, bro. Go have some fun. He had
That's
underwear
pretty
on,
harmless compared to the other prank you got hit with.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the pee in the ear. I'm still think that's pee and not water.
You never know. That's so funny though. Our different reaction. Somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I'm trying to help build my YouTube channel." It's like, no.
Yeah, but you can get away with it.
I know, but you would have said no. At vast majority of people in the street are going to say no, and they're just going to keep walking.
Huh.
It's like, I'm not helping you. What's in it for me?
You gotta help out the youth.
We're in Washington Square Park, and someone's like trying to interview you for. Remember we were there at one time?
And that girl made me do it. I didn't even want to do it.
No, that's the thing. It's like there is nothing to ever gain from helping anybody in that situation. It's like, no, do your own thing. I'm not helping you. Not going to be in your fucking video.
I did some street interviews in Times Square with this equipment. The questions weren't really there, but the quality is mint, the sound. So I'm going to start trying to do that for some YouTube views or something.
I hate it. It's ruining the city.
Yeah.
All these people doing street interviews.
Yeah, I got caught in Washington Square Park last night. I was there trying to shoot a sketch. There was people like from some food. Their whole channel's about like food, and they were asking everybody, "What's your snack?" But you could tell they were trying to be funny, so it was off. You know, people were uncomfortable.
That's what everybody's thing though. Is everybody now is like the interviewer is like the funny guy. So
And it should be the other way around, right?
Well, it's supposed to be, you set somebody up to say something funny, then you say something funny, and it's like now it's like a prank. Now
Right.
it's like intentionally bad interviewer who's like awkward.
Yeah.
And then it makes the other person awkward. And then
I can't stand when they try to put the mic real close to your face.
There's so many. Everybody's a hack these days.
Some of this stuff I see on TikTok is crazy. It's like, follow for more. It's like a girl will go up to somebody and be like, kiss or slap. And they'll smack her on the butt. And she'll be like, "Oh, that was a good one. Follow for more." It's like, what?
Right. Yeah.
What are we gaining out of that?
Well, the thing you got to keep in mind too is that like people say you'll see a viral thing go around from a street interview, and someone asked this girl, "What's the most important thing a guy can do?" She says, "Oh, the guy has to make money."
Yeah.
This is a big thing. Then somebody makes a comment on the video. This is what women really want. 9 out of 10 women you stop on the street are not going to be in your fucking video.
Yeah.
The 1 out of 10 who will do it is psychotic. So these are not representative of real people.
Yeah.
And people take
That's
these street
true.
interviews as being like, this is how we learn about what people actually think. It's not. This is what you learn about what the worst people think. It's
Yeah.
because everybody else has somewhere to be, or they realize that this is a setup. And it's like, I'm not going to be in your shit.
The original interviews to me were my favorite way back before social media, when they'd ask somebody something on the street and they'd put in a weird sound effect, or like, and they'll have a laugh track even though clearly there's no audience. But those ones work the best, like the late nights. Can you
It's
name?
like Jay Leno or something.
Yeah, it would be like Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who started that.
It is, but it's like even that. It's like the rules for doing street interviews. You got to do 100.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be one gem in there.
Yeah.
We stay out there for 5 hours, interview 100 people. Somebody's going to say something funny.
Yeah.
Everything else is getting cutting room floor. And that's just like that's what all these fucking hack teenagers are doing on the street. I bet that trick they did to you, they did that dozens of times that afternoon.
Everybody probably caught
yours
it.
probably didn't even get you probably didn't make the final cut.
Yeah, because I caught it. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah. They want is the guy who's going to be like, who's going to act outrageous.
I got pranked again yesterday. I forgot to tell you, bro. This one really got me. I'm walking down a dude's like a bush. It's on my friend's Instagram, and a dude's dressed up like a bush dude. He really had it perfect, like a bush. And he goes, ah. She freaked out so bad that it scared me. She's like, ah, 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 because she was not ready for it. I wasn't ready for it either. It made me jump. I was scared for a second. And they were recording across the street, but then I was like, hey, tag me in it.
Wow.
You know, but I don't think they're going to tag me in it.
See, even that, though, it's like that is the exact same trick again and again and again.
Yeah. Oh, my back.
When I was growing up in San Francisco, there used to be a guy who did that. He would dress up like a bush and scare people, but there was no video. That was just what he did. He didn't even ask for money or anything.
Wow.
This is just what he did. Like everybody in the area knew this is the guy who does this thing. I don't even know if he was homeless, but he just did that like all day, every day. He would just jump out and scare people, and then that was it. And it was like, oh, you got. But at least that was like an innocent thing because there was he wasn't trying to go viral with it.
Yeah, we used to do the like Ouija board, and like one of us will kill the breakers to the house, or we would turn the gas on the stove to freak somebody out.
Yeah, these kids these days, instead of shoplifting, they got to go out in the street and pull their pants down.
It's really ruining society.
It's embarrassing.
And then you got to think these people are actually going to have careers where that's going to come up again. But can you judge somebody?
Nah.
And they're all in little private
none of this
school.
stuff's ever going to come back.
Yeah.
Even if it does, it's like all these kids are doing the exact same video.
Well, in this neighborhood, like I grew up in Ohio, like we had some uniforms, but it was like not like they wear like little suits to school over here. So anytime you see a kid wearing that, I just assume he's going to be successful. But chances are 50% of those kids are going to end up on, not doing shit.
Well, the reason they do those uniforms is because some kids are actually poor.
Yeah.
And they want to make the poor kids look, they want everybody to look. Nobody feels bad about the way they're dressed because everybody's dressed the same.
They did in our school because of gangs.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's why it makes everybody uniform. So it's like you don't realize who's rich and who's poor, who's actually, smart or whatever. Yeah. But I think these kids, it's like anybody who's going to school in this area, they end up doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody going to school in Lower Manhattan and becoming a failure.
Yeah.
This is you're around success.
It's crazy how some kids got to take the train from Brooklyn to the Bronx to go to school. How's that even work out? I've heard stories.
It's like the gifted school in the Bronx. Bronx Science. It's like one of the best schools in the city.
How do you know so much stuff, Dan?
This is a very famous high school. There's like 5 very good high schools in New York City. It's like Stuyvesant downtown, and then Bronx Science up in the Bronx, and that's like those are the ones you gotta take a test to get into.
Wow!
So every like New York City like middle schooler takes these tests to test into like the good high schools, the ones you gotta place into. And so if you don't get into those schools, then you go to some bullshit school in Brooklyn.
Bro, so my neighbor just moved here from China. She's a comedian. We've been hanging out. She's telling me in China, all the way up until you graduate high school, they went to school from 7 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. They don't really get summers. They don't get like time off.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, we have to do that. And that's how we make it into America. I'm like, that is insane. I was like, you went to school from 7 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night your whole life? Like,
I don't think it's like
she said they get breaks, but
yeah. I mean, that's just like the lifestyle. I know that they don't get summers off. That is kind of like, if you really think about it, that is kind of weird how much time we get off in America.
Well, no, you gotta live life. I mean,
but you're supposed to learn. They're expecting you to learn all this stuff and retain the knowledge, and then you take 3 months off and you're just supposed to start again. There's no like, hey, let's catch you up on again from what you learned last year. You think about anything. You read a book and then wait 3 months. And I ask you what's in the book. It's like, I don't know. It was a long summer ago.
Yeah, dude, you're
but it's
right.
like school is supposed to be about teaching, especially for math, because you got to learn like 3rd grade, then 4th grade, 5th grade. You're taking this huge gap in between, and you got different teachers.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to just remember all this shit.
And she told me she majored in math, and I said, "What's the last math class somebody could take?" She's like, "It doesn't end." What's that mean?
Well, I mean, they jam in as much math as they can.
But I'm sure there's somebody that learned all the math. Was math never run out of learning?
Not in high school. I mean,
No,
like,
I thought she meant in general. Like you could take math for 60 years and never learn it all.
No.
Oh,
But I mean, like, you
she
can go
meant in high
once.
school.
She didn't go to like. I don't think she went to college and grad school, and PhD level math.
No, I think she's in New York for college. She
Yeah,
seems
exactly.
younger.
I mean, like they in China, I imagine you get to like calculus or something, and then probably
Wow.
12th grade, you're doing like the kind of stuff we do in college here. They're probably doing there.
Huh. Yeah, it's crazy that you don't get to enjoy
But you
life
think
at
of-
all.
I mean, you enjoy life as much as anybody else. But like, you think about compare the Chinese system to the American system, and try to think that at 18 years old, America is supposed to be competing with China.
It would never happen.
Who do you think is learning more here?
Right. Oh, without a doubt.
It's not even close.
And you know what else she was saying? And this is true. I don't think she would lie. Before you could do any comedy show, the government has to. It's not even TV. She's like if you're speaking to a group of people, the government has to approve what you're gonna say.
Yeah, well, they don't have to like. You don't get it like in written permission. But if you say anything that's even a little bit off, a little bit critical, it's like, yeah, your shit's done.
Yeah, because we're writing jokes together. She's like, oh, can't say that about China. I'll lose my citizenship. I'm like, no, it's just a joke. I'm like,
I mean, that's the thing. She's even in America. If you're a Chinese citizen, the Chinese government is still they got their eyes on you.
man.
So even if she's in America and she says something bad about China, it's like, no, your shit is getting yanked.
She said it's safe to travel there. She said the skylines are prettier than New York, the Chinese cities.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's New York's
gives a fuck?
legendary. Yeah.
I don't know, I guess. I don't know. Who cares about skylines? If I'm worried the government's going to come after me. It's like, no, I'll take that trade-off. But that's why, like, there's no good Chinese movies. And you can't think of, like, there's not, like, Chinese, like, musicians that you can name. You think about it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
China,
Well, I don't know
one point,
China.
China has 4 times as many. Well,
I mean, I don't know
America,
Chinese.
in China, they know about LeBron James.
Yeah.
They know about 50 Cent.
She was
They
telling
know
me,
about Jay-Z. But it's like, in America, we don't know anything about Chinese artists.
yeah.
Even though China has 4 times as many people as America. Think about that. 4 times as many people. They make movies over there, but our movies go there. Their movies don't come here.
And it's mandatory that you need to know English in China.
Yeah. But it's like the reason their movies aren't good in China is because you can't write good movies because everything has to go through the fucking government.
Wow.
So the government can everything gets censored. I saw this one Chinese movie. It was this cartoon this guy made, and like it's like an hour and a half feature film, and you get like an hour in, and then there's just like 5 minutes of just like silence, where the movie just like in the middle of the plot, the movie just cuts to like an ocean. And it was it really throws you off because it makes no sense in the context of the movie.
Yeah.
But the whole reason behind it, the message he's trying to send, it was like this is the part they couldn't show you.
Wow.
So they just cut everything. So it's like I got to show you that I couldn't tell the whole story. So here's a bunch of silence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's the only thing that they could ever really culturally export from China was Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
That was the only
from there.
wacky shit that
And
they
didn't he
could.
make like 100 movies over there though?
He made a bunch of movies, but it's like those are the only movies that can come to America because it's like really wacky fun.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't say any real stuff over there, or else you're getting got.
How much longer till it's like that over here? You think 10 years?
I don't know.
It's
And
getting
that's what
there.
Trump. I mean, like even this girl is studying in America. Trump is cutting all that stuff off. All
What,
this,
she
like,
can't study here?
I mean, like they're trying to kick out all the Chinese students, the college students
What?
from Harvard.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're taking all their visas away because they don't want
What?
Chinese people studying in America.
What?
Well, they don't want Chinese people coming here and learning all this smart stuff, taking it back to China.
Well, if Chinese people are the smartest, then why are they coming here anyway? It's
Well,
a
they go to-
Chinese teacher.
They go to
problem.
Harvard, so it's
Are the
like,
teachers Chinese at Harvard?
I think a lot of it is, but it's like Harvard is still Harvard. So people in China still see that as being like, that's where you go if you're successful. And that's the
Huh.
thing with China, they still look up to the West in terms of like, they still want to buy Prada bags and they want to go to Harvard and they like LeBron James and stuff.
Wow. I don't know anything about China.
But yeah, all these people, it's like especially the people who come here from China to go to Harvard. These are like the most smart people ever. These people have been slaving away for 20 years in their crazy school system. Then they come all the way here and then they get told, no, you got to go home. We don't want you learning here.
That would be insane.
Yeah. Think about how much more motivated those people are once they get back to China, too.
Yeah.
If you think you study your whole life because you want to go to Harvard, and then you get to Harvard and immediately they kick you out, I would be going back to China on the flight home. I'd be like, I'm going to invent so much shit.
Why are
when
they
I go to
stu-
China,
like,
I'm going to like be the smartest person of all time, and I'm never going to come to America again.
This is the thing I don't understand. How does smarts translate to money? Like, wouldn't there be a certain point we could make a YouTube video and get rich? Like, what would you care about? Fucking.
If you're smart though, you get a job where they're paying you like $1 million to do some like real technical shit. The people who actually know how to run YouTube,
Yeah.
who know how to like who can build a system where you upload a video.
Man.
That's the technical shit. Those guys make the real money.
Huh.
Anybody who's studying all this math stuff and going to Harvard and learning all this high level like technical STEM stuff, it's like those people they're like 21 years old and they're already like set for life.
Wow.
Those guys make crazy money.
Now, what happens with AI though? Won't that end all that?
Somebody's got to write the AI.
Oh,
Those are the guys who
wow.
are running their. Plus, you still need somebody who knows what they're doing.
If you had to pick a scale from the dumbest person on earth to the smartest person on earth, where would you say you sit?
Scale.
Like,
I mean, like
1 to 10, like
or
1 to 100. I don't know how vast it's going
Not to put it. I think 100 is probably the smarter way to do it.
Right.
So 100 is like the smartest guy.
Yeah.
And 0 is like the dumbest guy.
Yeah. I gotta
Over
be at
50.
least over 50. I could see you there.
I'd say around 60.
What do you think I'd be like? And now you're talking street smarts. I'd be a little better. But dude, if you're talking book smarts, I'd be at the 1. I would be at the 1. The 2.
There are people you can read.
Yeah.
You can read and you can do basic math.
Yeah.
You can add and subtract. There's a lot of people in this world who cannot read, first off, not even a little bit. And they couldn't do like addition. You can't do
Wow.
12 plus 12.
That's crazy.
There's some people out there who still they got to get paid in ones. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or there's people who you got to pay me in a sandwich because I don't trust any of this other stuff.
Oh man.
So it's like you're above that. I'd put you at least 25, 30.
Man, that would be good.
Although there are, I mean, like it's getting worse for you
Yeah.
because there's more Chinese people and more Indians every day, and it's like those guys are working for it.
I just want to get that chip, dude. I want to be a little smarter.
Right. But the thing is, once you get the chip, it'll make you think you're smart, but you won't realize that you're still not smart.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'll be able to do smart things.
But you won't be smart enough to know that you're not smart.
Yeah.
So you'll still be taking somebody else's word for it. Whereas this girl you're talking about who came from China and did all that studying, she knows that she's smart.
Bro, she's so smart. Talking to her, I'm like, are you bothered by how dumb I am? I could tell she was actually in shock at how
Right.
dumb I am because we were having real conversations.
Yeah.
She speaks perfect English. She's like, I worked very hard to not have an accent. She's
Yeah,
like,
China, there's more English speakers than America.
Yeah, she said she learned English really good by watching a lot of those TGIF shows from the old school, like Family Matters and all those shows.
Yeah, but put this girl in front of a car that needs to be washed. Let's see her wash a car.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see you put together an IKEA shelf.
Yeah, I bet you she can't mount nothing.
Exactly.
But she'd probably figure it out.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Everything that you know how to do, she could figure it out pretty quick. It's not like, see you make an Instagram video.
You know, I told her one thing, and you know me, I bullshit. I don't always have the facts. She don't play like that. So she goes, oh, really? That's interesting. She goes on it. She's looking it up that
It's
second.
the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
She's
We're just
spelling.
having fun.
Yeah, like there was a word I was asking her about. She's, you know, and it's like, what am I even asking this girl what that word means in conversation? She had to break down. I was like, I don't mean to be rude, but her vocabulary wasn't normal even. It was like a college vocabulary. Why do people do that? It's like, you think everybody arbitrary and, you know, and all these other words? People aren't saying that shit in regular conversation.
Well, she
Cognitivity.
didn't learn English through conversation the way you do. She learned it through like, you know, flashcards and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like those people, you think somebody's in school 12 hours a day, 18 years straight. So you got to do something.
0 accent, man.
Yeah.
She's only been living here for a month.
Well, you learn it without the accent. So it's like accent. You can learn to talk without the accent.
Well, all those people on the ships that are learning different languages, they do the weird face. And her face was very natural. I was even told her, I was like, you don't really kink up your face when you say words. And
right.
she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, most people, they'll be like, that, you see that.
Yeah.
Like, if I try to learn Chinese, I'm going to make a weird face.
Yeah. Well, it's like those people on the ship, they're from the Philippines.
Yeah.
So they learned English around like there's like a barking dog.
Yeah.
So they're trying to learn something and there's a bunch of chickens and shit running around. So it's like, you learn in a different way.
Yeah.
Whereas Chinese people learn things through like, you got to think, imagine, when you're at like Penn Station and you're looking up at the big sign.
Yeah.
And you see the thing just rolls and a bunch of words pop up. That's how people learn in China.
What do you mean?
Just like 10 million people just looking up at a thing. Math.
What?
So
really?
everybody, you just learn. But I mean, that's the style of learning, where it's like it's top down. Whereas in someone like the Philippines, well, not literally, but in a place like the Philippines, it's very rural. So it's like you're around the nature.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're learning English around on like a dirt floor around like a bunch of other people. Everybody's around some little tablet.
Or you're fishing.
Yeah, you're doing some like physical stuff, and then like every once in a while, everybody gets around a little like little tablet.
Yeah.
And let's learn some stuff off of YouTube. Whereas in China, it's like, no, it's time to learn.
Yeah.
Your job right now is to be very smart.
Wow.
So you just end up learning some stuff.
It is definitely, when I went and did that college, where'd I do? Princeton? Dude, it was every single person was Chinese. It's like, it's like, dude, it is a lot of Chinese people there.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? Anytime there's like, all these, like I was saying earlier about the high schools in New York City where you got to take a test to get in. And it's like they do everything where it's like it's all anonymous kind of. Like, because they don't want anybody biased about race. So it's like everybody has like, you basically do things through a code.
Yeah.
So you give them your test and they grade your test and they tell you if you got in or not. And those schools end up being like 60% Asian.
And I would say even more.
Because it's like, yeah, exactly. But it's like they set up the system to be not biased.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to like be racially biased, or it's, young people growing up here. So it's like, yeah, everybody just takes the exact same test. But it's like, if that's the system you create, it's going to be Asian.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So this girl met me because she follows me on Instagram, like from China. She used to see my shit on Instagram in China.
Yeah, wow.
So that's what's weird. So that's how we met, was she hit me up because she's in America. And then we're staying. She's like, I always see you in my neighborhood on videos. So, wow. And it makes sense what you're saying about the culture, because like with the test and stuff, because we're going over the jokes and she's like asking me to she's like, and then we can, next time we meet, she's putting in her calendar, you can give me an exam on this. And I'm like, this is comedy. I'm like, there's no exam.
Yeah. Well, that's once you get in the mentality of tests. It's like, yeah, you need to get a grade.
It's like, you got to make people laugh. I was like, going on stage and when people laugh, that's how you know you got a good grade.
Wow. There you go. You're teaching her.
Yeah.
This is like it's like a Disney movie.
Yeah,
you got to show her to dance.
And I was saying and shit and motherfucker. I'm trying to show off a little.
If this was a Disney movie, there would be a part you'd both be in front of the mirror. You show her how to do a little dance move.
Yeah.
This is called the two-step.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she teaches you about her culture.
Yeah,
some sort of
food.
Spreadsheets or something.
Well, she said the Chinese food's actually pretty good here in New York.
Yeah. Go to Flushing.
Yeah.
You get some sort of some steamed dumplings or something?
Yeah, dude, I could just tell just by hanging out with her. I'm sure there was a moment where she was like, man, she's got to be thinking I hate to say, I'm not dissing America, but I am a bad representation of.
Pretty average representation, though.
Yeah, I guess.
You're not below average in America.
I feel like I am a little bit. Maybe
New York City, yeah. But I mean, for Ohio,
yeah, I'm good.
It's fairly representative. I think she's got Ohio down. You can cross that off the list.
She's never been to Ohio, but she should check it out.
Not a whole lot of math going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing China for one time, but I'd be scared if they don't want to keep you though. I don't think China's one of those places. They don't want no problems with America. I don't think.
Well, especially if they know that you're like a social media person, they'll try to like roll out the red carpet for you.
Oh, you think so?
I think they'll have like, because I know there was like some of those streamer guys who do Twitch streams. They go to China, and the Chinese government like has like a special person for them who's like showing them everything. And then everywhere they go, everybody's on their best behavior, and everything is like super high tech and clean. because it's like the Chinese government's always trying to like put out that image of being like. That's why they Chinese people always try to brag about China. They always try to tell you that back in China we have better buildings,
Better dim sum, yeah.
well, the skyline.
Yeah.
Imagine saying that to somebody. You see what these buildings look like? Yeah, our buildings look better.
Yeah.
So what are you fucking talking about? Yeah, New York. You know how New York looks cool? We have way cooler. It's like, I don't think you do.
Yeah, it's
probably.
New York.
I mean, it's probably Times Square. It looks all shiny looking, but it's like, that's not really New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no history to it. Well, all the big Chinese cities were all built in the last like 20 years.
Yeah.
So they have just brand new cities, but it doesn't have the same like you don't get the history that you
See,
get here.
in my mind, I would have thought that Americans would want to go to China and study.
Nah, not really. I mean, you go to China to study if you're like a business person and you want to get in like the Chinese government
Well,
or
like
something.
somebody had a kid in America and they wanted their kid to be real smart, so they sent him to China for 19 years to just learn. Then he comes back to America and goes to Harvard.
Right. That's true. Maybe. But I mean, I don't think that happens. Really.
But then, we learn different things here in America with those summers off. I feel like I worked. I learned how to work. Like
you learn how to, ride a dirt bike.
Yeah. Learn how to break your wrist.
Yeah, you did not learn very much. If your goal is to raise the smartest child and to like get, obviously 3-4 months off is not a great way to learn.
Well, the hardest thing is if you really wanted to really have a child that's impressive, you'd somehow have to have them learn in China or her, but they'd have to have the London accent.
Oh, my God.
Like the real posh.
Mm-hmm. Especially if she's like Indian.
Little chubby. Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's like a skinny Indian girl, and she's like speaks British accent.
Yeah.
Wow. Dressed like a flight attendant.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's the kind of girl you just want to like start handing her money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a good wife.
Oh yeah. No, but then that's also the kind of girl where she's got business in Australia.
Yeah.
She's probably getting on a flight to Brazil.
Probably has a laptop.
All right. Well, now I'm depressed.